it's a tiny little piece. So this is a 5x5 canvas. And here we're going to do a base coat first and something super simple as well. I'm going to use white and crocodile green. And we're going to just create a nice, fresh little green backdrop. So, but before we get, actually, I'm going to go ahead and do that. And then I'm going to talk to you about my bucket of fun while this dries for a few minutes. So we're going to go ahead and just start on our green backdrop. So I'm going to get a fairly decent size brush. This is like a 1-inch flat. Hello, Patty. Hello, Deb. Hello, hello. Hello, ladies. Do not forget to, if you have a friend who you think will enjoy, hey, Reams, if you think you have a friend who might enjoy watching us, please let them know we're here so that they can enjoy the process as well. We'd love for you to sprinkle the love. And if you sprinkle and let your friends know you're here, that we're out here playing tonight, and come back here and tell me that you did so, then your name will go in the drawing for next week's little gift. Okay, are you talking about these blocks? These blocks are just a 2x4 that I cut. These are what I use to go under my canvas so I don't have drippies. Is that what you're talking about? If that's what you're talking about, that's what it is. Just a 2x4 cut into little bits. I'm gonna keep that close because I am gonna have to use it. Hello, thank you for the sprinkles. So I'm gonna go ahead and just throw on some white on my canvas, about a nickel size. Hey Louise, did you get your glass, baby? Did you get your replacement glass? We sent Louise the wrong stuff. We make boo-boos occasionally. We send stuff that gets broken, that ain't supposed to be broken. And sometimes we accidentally send the wrong color because we crazy sometimes. All right, I'm going to go ahead and hit the sides of this too. Thanks for the sprinkles. Hey, Lori Pickle, thanks for being here. We appreciate you. And I'm going to remind you while you're here, since you're new, that if you invite your friends to come and watch us and then let us know that you did so, we're going to give away next week on our Wednesday Live. We're going to give away a little sweet, fun piece of art to one lucky sprinkler. I need a little bit more for that edge. So thanks for being here. We appreciate you so much taking time out of your busy day to spend 30, 40 minutes with us. Hey, Sherry. How are you? Okay, so that whole thing is covered with white. So now I'm going to take this crocodile green. Go Cindy. Cindy sold her dragonfly today. I'm so proud of you. That's so exciting, isn't it? Hey, Dot. Long time no see. So I'm just going to, speaking of Dot, I'm going to put a dot of this green on my canvas, just a tiny bit. I think I am. It's not exactly being nice. Just a tiny dot of green. And we're going to blend that in with that same brush and just create a little bit of a green background on the top surface of our piece. Now I want it to be random. I don't want it to be all one solid color. So I kind of like it just like it is, but I am going to blend this out just a little bit. And then we'll leave that dark in the middle where our cotton boll is going to be. So I do like a crazy colorful background. So we'll clean up that edge all the way around. Quick and easy. Stick that in, and that is it for our background, okay? So I'm going to move this up a little bit to dry while I tell you about my bucket of goodness, okay? So I have a bucket that I keep. We are making a cotton boll. This is my bucket of goodness. Can you see that? Can you see all this goodness. This is what I call my scrap bucket. Thank you for the sprinkles. Hello, Deborah. This is what I call my scrap bucket. So if I break something and I only have like a couple of nuggets of it left, I throw it in this scrap bucket. It's got seashells. It's got some vitriograph. It's got some ornament. It's got just all sheet glass, all kinds of goodies, and this is my scrap bucket, okay? So when my person asked me about a cotton bowl, the first thing that came to my mind, a cotton bowl is it's like what you pick and make clothes out of, Cheryl. Not a bowl, B-O-W-L, B-O-L-L, bowl, like cotton. Okay, so my first inclination was to use the Starfire glass and kind of mold some bowls, B-O-L-L, B-O-L-L, cotton bowl. It's to mold the puffs, the little cotton ball puffs, in a cotton bowl out of the clear glass. It would take some molding because you want it to be kind of rounded, so you would have to lay out your first layer or two of glass, put something, yes, football tournament, put some resin on it, and then build it up a little bit to make it have a curved look to it. But then bowl, cotton bowl, right? If it's off the plant, it's a ball. If it's still on the plant, it's a bowl, B-O-L-L. But cotton ball probably makes better sense to people. So as I was thinking about making this, I came across my little bucket of fun and thought to myself, there's got to be some, see, I have a lot of these white nuggets that I don't use a lot in my art, the big white pieces. And I thought there has got to be some shapes in here that I can use for a cotton bowl, right? So I did. I went through my bucket and I came up with a couple of shapes that I think I can use to create a cotton bowl. And if that doesn't work, we'll come up with something else. And I just kept scrounging through. I'm going to actually just put these on here for a second so you can kind of see them. So what I can do is just kind of create a little 3-bowl shape. I probably need something a little more round than that one. And then I thought, what am I going to use for the brown the thing that the bowl's in before it busts open? You know what I'm talking about? I have no idea what that's called. No earthly idea. But I'm going to trim this real quick. But I was thinking, what am I going to use? Because I need something that is going to curl around my bowl to make it 3-dimensional. Make sense? Okay, so I want one. I'm going to scrounge through here real quick and see if I can find one that's similar to that, but opposite. Still have a nice bowl shape. Oh, look at there. Okay, so in my bucket of love, I also have a bunch of these. Hey, Susan. Yes, a cotton pod. A bunch of these little, I guess this is where they cut it off of the glass when they are, when they're blowing the glass. So I had a bunch of those stringer type pieces with skinny husk. Thank you, Christy. I live in the South, Mississippi. My mama has even picked cotton, and I don't even know the terminology. So anyway, I was thinking if I could find some of these littler pieces that are curved, I can nip those off and come up with the husk. And I did, okay? So I found this piece, and I didn't even have to cut it. So this little piece we're gonna use, and it's brown, so it's completely appropriate. So we're gonna use that inside our little, let me turn it, I may have to trim it a little. We use that for one of the husks. I'm gonna trim it off just a smidge with my handy dandy nippers. Let me trim it so it'll lay good. So we're gonna use that. And then I have another piece that I haven't broken off yet, but you can see that it is just a scrap from a glass blower. So I'm gonna break off the big fat end with my nips. Ugh, I gotta hold it down. Hang on. Ugh. And so we have two little husks here that we can use that are kind of curved that will wrap around. I'm gonna need to put some glue on them, but they'll wrap around there. So I think I need a couple for the outside edges too. So I'm gonna just go through my little scrappies. I'm gonna find some small, see this would work too. That is a piece of vitrograph. We may use that if we don't find anything else. Well, this is another piece that's got a nice curve to it. So basically, this is my scrap bucket, and we're making this cotton ball completely out of glass scraps. And I think we're gonna use the vitrograph. All right, so I think this is dry enough to use. So I'm gonna push this up and away. And we are going to, I wanna make sure that my white still shows, and it does. If you have clear glass, you might want to paint out a little cotton bowl before you put your glass on. That is so cute. Let me see if I can situate these. I'm gonna add a little glue. So, I wish I could find one with a little more of a curve, but should have done that before we started. We'll make it work. We gonna make it work. Okay, so I'm just gonna use some glue, just a little bit of glue to keep my little pieces in place for my cotton ball. All right, so I'm just gonna add a little glue here, just so my little piece doesn't roll around all over the place. And we have another one. Hang on, I'm gonna do this one over here. Just fits better. We have another one. I'm gonna add a little glue. So cute. And I think on the outside edges, I'm gonna nip off about 1 inch of this. And we'll put it here. And I'm gonna, since it's kind of curved, I wanna use that. And we'll put about 1 inch there on this outside edge. And now I need to find like a stem of some sort. We could use this, but I really kind of want something darker. So let me see. This is a bucket of goodness, y'all. Bucket of fun. I don't really see anything that I want to use, so we're gonna use that, and we're gonna nip it off about right there on the end. We'll do a little line of glue, hold it together. And voila, look, it's a cotton bowl. That is the easiest project I think I've ever done in my entire life. So crazy easy. So basically it's just 3 little chunks of glass and with some brown scrap pieces to create the husks for the thing. Now it's a little bit boring, so I think we're gonna add a couple of somethings here and there. Do cotton bowls have leaves? I don't know off the top of my head if they have leaves or not, but maybe we can add just some leaves and maybe some more color or something to it. So cute, isn't it? I could add, I'm gonna break, I love this piece, so I'm gonna just break that off at the curve. We're gonna add it for fun. Just a little something. I'm just throwing stuff on. Yes, definitely look for somebody in your area who blows glass and creates little glass pieces. The plants have leaves, so let's see if this might work. Let's do this. Instead of the clear piece, watch this. Oh, I'm trading that. Watch this. Trading that in for that. See if I can find another one of those. Gives it a little more pizzazz, doesn't it? I don't really like that, but actually, y'all, okay, so I'm a little bit of a ADD today, but we may, if I can find another one, we may be doing something a little off the chain. Let's see. Let me find one. Sorry. This is how it works when you don't know what you're doing till the last minute. I love to use, okay guys, I'm just gonna tell you this. I know my goodie box is so much fun. If you don't have the Vitriograph and you have used your nippers to cut some cute little, the leaves be brown or up by the cotton bows, not on the stem. Yeah, I'm not gonna add any leaves. But you can make little leaves out of sheet glass. And you could actually, if you had brown or bronze, you could use that as the husks on your cotton bowl. And I am digging that look. So do you like these, the little green leaf there? Check that out. Can you even see it? I know, I have to be super careful. Can you see? I'm gonna turn it this way because it'll look a little bit better. Can you see that? I kind of like that better than that little stringy thing. I don't know. It's supposed to be brown though, isn't it? I don't like it either. All right. I'm still digging, hoping for something better. Oh, look, I found it. Look at that. We'll nip it off a little. No green stem. Man. I'm liking that. See, the more I dig, the more I find what I need. Hang on. I love my box of goodies. Hang on, we'll put that in. Take this out. I don't like those, sorry. Okay, found another one. Look at that. See, you just keep grabbing at it, and then you just come up with all kinds of surprises that you didn't see 3 minutes ago. So we're gonna try again. We're gonna get this right. Look at there. Is that better? That's so much better. All brown. Okay, so we're gonna use this. Hang on. What do you think? This one's bugging me. So we're gonna alter it a little. I think we hit the jackpot, finally. didn't we? It took a minute, and I got 20 things with glue on it down here. So, should we add some glass, like some green or some clear down at the bottom? What do you think? Should we add anything else to it or leave it simple like it is? Because I could add some glass like at the bottom. What do you think? Yes, way better with brown. I just needed to keep looking in my little bucket of goodness. Yeah. I'm gonna scoot this over so you can look at my bucket of goodness again. How wonderful it is. So you can see why sometimes it would take you a minute or two to find what you're looking for, because there is so much goodness in here. I mean, look at that. I mean, tell me that ain't delicious. So leave as is or add glass. Bubbles. Should we add bubbles? Where are the bubbles? Leave it, bubbles. Let's see, a few bubbles. Let me grab a few. Where are my bubbles? Hang on. Oh, here they are. Just a few bubbles at the bottom. I think here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna set these down to remind me, and I think we're going to, resin it, and then if we feel like we need bubbles when it has resin, we will do that. So let me set this aside. And we're gonna resin. The resin's gonna make all these colors pop. So let me grab my gloves, and I'm only gonna mix, I only need probably ½ an ounce of resin. I don't need much at all. This is such a small piece, and there's so little of anything on here that I'm thinking I might mix an ounce because I do have something else to do. So I'm gonna go ahead. Actually, I might mix. Let me make my mark. Thank you for the sprinkles. I am going to mix one last cup. I know I don't need a full ounce. I'm going to mix a ½ ounce of hardener and a ½ ounce of resin. I like the simplicity too. So I think we're going to leave it, and if I don't like it once it's done, then we'll talk about adding something else, okay? So I have a cup for resin and a cup for hardener. So we're gonna add those in our little cuppies. So let's do, yes, that would be good, bronze glassware. Y'all, I wanna tell you this too, guys. I went to Home Goods today, and they had so many beautiful glass type vases, bowls for like $4, $5, $6 that I bought a couple. I'll show you pictures of them tomorrow. They're still in my truck. That I cannot wait to bust a move on. I cannot wait to break them. I know that sounds terrible, but it's okay. It's okay to break glass if it's cheap, right? So I've got a ½ ounce of resin and a ½ ounce of hardener here. And we'll pull this towards me a little bit so I'll have space. And I'm gonna grab, this doesn't really fit well into these cups. So I'm gonna grab just a plastic palette knife that I can clean off, because that'll work really well for me. And Rima, are you going to time me? I'm gonna dump my hardener into my resin, or vice versa, whichever way it ended up. And we're gonna mix for 3 minutes. Scrape it all out, don't miss any. And then we're gonna finish off our little cotton ball. All right, so I'm gonna start, somebody time me, Rima. I'm gonna start, and while I'm mixing for 3 minutes, I'll answer any questions anybody might have about glass art or whatever we're doing and what we've got going on here. So just let me know if you have a question. I'm going to just softly and gently stir this for 3 minutes, and then it'll be ready. So you're going to, whatever resin you're using, you're going to follow the directions on that resin. And I would always suggest that you use art resin. Okay? It's tried and true. If you're creating art to sell or give to people, you don't want it to turn yellow. Don't use a cheap resin. This resin's made specifically for art pieces. It is made in the US of A, and it is not one of those stinky resins that has all the VOCs and is hazmat, okay? So, Laura, how I break my glass depends on what it is. Like for a vase, for instance, if I can get my nippers down in the mouth of the vase, then I will use that and then break shapes as I need. If it's like a bottle that I just want to break into small pieces, then I will just whack it with a hammer, put the bottle in like a towel, wrapped up in a box on a hard surface, and just whack it with a hammer until the pieces are small enough to use. Okay, should we have wheeled nippers? If we have the nippers. They're interchangeable, really. The wheeled nippers are good for if you're new and don't want to spend a lot of money. They're inexpensive and perfectly fine. If you want to up your game a little, then these nippers are the ones to get. What about, when is the membership open again? We are open to the public in September, but if you are on our mailing list, you might get a little surprise before then, all right? Very soon, by the way. So yes, you can use sea glass in your art, but you want to use it after you pour the resin, because the resin will make your sea glass not cloudy and dusty. You know, it has that dusty look. So sea glass, the resin will make it where it looks like clear glass. I'll show you the nippers in just a second. Oh, hush. I'm mixing to the best of my ability. Yeah, I think Janie said her Hobby Lobby stopped using the coupon. I think that's across the board, Janie. They stopped doing it during COVID last year or at the first of this year in all their stores. I don't think it's just your store. You can't get a coupon anymore. Yeah, and they have stuff on sale all the time now, though, so. My mom picked cotton too, Sandra. My mom's entire family did. They, that was back in the age where, you got out of school to pick cotton. It was like, you get a spring break. They got cotton picking break. Can you paint clear glass? Patty, you certainly can. I use alcohol inks and spray paint to paint clear glass. Time is up. I'm going to give it another second because I didn't do right. Pam, if you are a member, you will remain a member until you say you don't want to. Okay? If you paid annually, we'll give you a heads up when it's time for your annual subscription to renew, and you can make that decision as well. I know I stopped twice, Rima. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna start putting the resin on, and I'm gonna start on my glass pieces so that it drains around the rest of my art piece and I don't end up putting too much on. So I'm gonna start with my big old chunks because I wanna make sure they're covered really well and will adhere to my canvas. So, just drizzling over the top of my glass. Yeah. That's funny, Paula. So we're covering our glass. Now this is a 1/2 ounce of resin. I think it's gonna be just about right. Probably a little tiny bit more than we really need, but that's okay too. So we'll cover that stem, make sure it's nice and covered. And then I'll use the rest to drizzle around the outside. Okay, so I'm gonna tell you guys this. If you're thinking about doing this at home, here's a thought too, to give it a little more oomph, is to do your background and then maybe add a dark color around the outside edge, like gold or brown or bronze, metallic or something that will kind of give a framed up look to it. I wish I'd have done that now. It just popped in my head just now that we could have done that, but that's okay too. So let's see, that's plenty, and I only used half of what I mixed. So if you do a quart or 1/2 ounce of resin, you'll be able to do 2 cotton bowls, okay? And I have a lot of resin, very generous amount of resin on my piece, so you might even be able to get 3 out of it, because I've got a lot. I mean, I could probably scrape half that back in. So I want to make sure I'm completely covered. My edges are nice. And wipe my resin off my little stick. I'm going to go around. Yeah, blue background would look good. Pretty much any background. And we're going to hit this with, I have a 1/4 ounce left. So you could do 2. So I'm going to hit this with my handy dandy. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? Look what I bought, guys. Just for you, I bought a heat gun. So I'm going to give this a whirl. The heat gun that I've had previously was a big, massive, industrial heat gun, but I'm going to try this one and see what happens. Who has a heat gun like this? Right? Oh, it works nicely. Look at there. It's popping all those bubbles. It does blow the resin a little bit, which I'm not terribly fond of because of the air. So I'm going to hit it real quick with my torch, because that doesn't move my glass around. And voila, we have a cotton bowl. Do you have one like that? Does it push air? So these are the nippers somebody asked about. I bought these on eBay. I can't remember the name, but I think if you just look up mosaic glass nippers, you'll be able to see these on eBay, okay? So here is our cotton bowl. What do you guys think of that? Simple, easy. Yeah, it was blowing the resin. I'm not terribly fond of that. It's simple and easy, and I'm gonna do one more thing. I can't stand it. I have a little bit of bronze glass here, and I'm gonna find a piece of bronze glass that is about the size I want, and I'm gonna put it right in the center where all those little pieces meet, and cover it with resin, because it just feels like it needs a connector instead of seeing all those broken edges. One little tiny piece of bronze. There we go. I'll show you that close up. So that kind of finished off the center where all these little husks meet. It kind of joined them all together and finish that off. So is that not adorable? Yes. Yeah, I probably was too close, Cheryl. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. And what I may do tomorrow, before I post a picture, is just take some gold rubbing buff and rub around the edges to kind of frame that out. And I will take a picture of that to show you guys so you can see what we did. Do we want to add bubbles? Do we want bubbles? Thanks for the sprinkles. I don't know about bubbles. I don't know how I feel. Let's do it. We're doing it. A few more. My hands are kind of sticky, so they're sticking to my hands a little. I may have to move them around. I'm going to put a couple on the cotton bowl too. Look at there. See, it maybe did need that one little something, didn't it? Now I'm going to take this and kind of shift them around. I don't like to do too much because I want it to be organic, but what do you think? That kind of gave it a little bit of something, something. I'm going to leave it. And now I have a piece of debris or something. Dig that out. Voila. It is dew. So cute. I like it. I hope you like it too. So I'm going to raise the camera.